particularly because the use case is something that a lot of OTT players, come across very often. And the second thing is the audience size, right? So digging deep into this is all about content recommendations and alerts. And this was a user action triggered campaign, which is really, again, an example of how versatile push notification actually is. The goal was to increase content consumption in their existing users. And this particular marketer had also used rich media in order to improve their clicks and conversions. And apart from push notifications, in-app was another channel that they had used. So since we got this from Southeast Asia, Hastu, do you want to once again have a look and share your thoughts on this campaign?
Let me take a stab at it. Yeah, for sure. No, I think it's one of the more important campaign types for OTTs today, and that's being able to recommend the right type of content. And it's a tricky one. So let's go through some of the things that we saw that did well for them. First one is a bit of a trend, but glad again to see that push notifications are being used to pick up on the user context and the fact that they're the most real time, they're the most attached to a user today. So I was glad to see that. I was glad to see also that they're using an artist affinity based recommendation in this. So it was good to see that it was triggered based on what artist I listened to recently, or what artists I tend to listen to more. And that's a great way of really sending personalized content to a user. Rich media, I think I've been talking about it on all of the other campaigns that we looked at, and it's great to see that I get one where rich media is actually being used. But very good to see that they've been using images, especially. Like Shivangi was saying, we always recommend using carousels as well, because it gives you that a little bit more real estate, and it's 1 versus 3, 5, or 6 recommendations that you can make, and that can be the difference, right? So great to see rich media, but just gonna say also great if they could start using carousels in some of the more innovative rich media formats. That'll be amazing. Also happy to see interstitials and in-app messages as a part of this campaign. Reason being, if I've just finished listening to an album, that's a great time to make a recommendation for another one, or great time to recommend an artist that I might be interested in from a similar genre. So it was great to see some of the more in the moment channels being used as well. But of course, not without flaws, like any of the campaigns that we have. So I think a few things that we did notice was those CTR and conversion numbers, right? We generally see about a 2.1% click-through rate and a conversion rate of about 42+%, and they are well below that. And why could that be? And just looking at some of the things that they could have done to improve this is user level personalization. So while it's great to see that there's content based personalization and recommendations being made, there's a big difference between saying, hey Pulkit, we noticed that you love The Weekend, versus, hey there stranger, do you want to listen to this, right? And that's a big difference. That's the difference between the app saying, I understand you and I've put in a lot of work to personalize this experience for you, to saying, maybe we just guessed and got this right. So I'd say user level personalization can go a really long way. In numbers, we see 1.5x in click-throughs and 1.4x in conversion. So I think that's something that they've missed out on here. Geofencing is another bit. And geofencing is particularly interesting because it helps you pick up on the real-time context of the user. And now this can work in a couple of different ways, right? This could work in a way to say that in your area or in your city, or maybe even at this concert that you're at right now, this is what people are listening to, or in this city even, this is what people are listening to. And it could also go a little further to say, hey, we noticed that you're at the airport, here's a recommendation. Because that is the time that you're most likely to actually interact, because you're bored and you might try something new back around then, right? So I'd say picking up on that context to say, you're missing out on something that everybody around you seems to love, or saying, looks like you've got a lot of time on your hands, why don't you try something new? And that's that's an increase in click-through rates of about 17.36%. So that can go a long way again. Um, we noticed that rich media is being leveraged here, which is great. But I'll say what I've been saying for a while here, and that is start testing. It's great to use images and it's great to use those rich media, but there's also so many types of rich media that you could use. So test it out and see what actually works for what type of content, for what type of artist, and really what type of person listening to this content. So A/B testing, again, something to do. And the last one that I did notice here and I would want to talk about is emails. Emails are a great channel to make just that little bit more of a passive recommendation rather than, again, do this right now. Emails have great recall as well. So it's a great way of showing you this big, colorful image or this uh, really rich information about the artist or about the content that you want to push to them, and really just allowing the user to get to it at their own pace, at their own time. So emails for recommendations is something that has been performing really well for decades now, and I'd say it's something that we should keep trying to do. And that's it. That's what I have for this one.